All right, I think we're good. Do you think we're good? Yeah, all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Artie the Adventurer, and I am here to give you the plethora of knowledge I have discovered upon my travels around the world. Yes, around the world. I have studied abroad and learned so many things that now I am here to share with you. And it just so happens I have arrived here in this holy place known as the theater, or as some of us like to call it, the teatra. I shall share with you my knowledge of all the things I have learned and will enlighten you with my wonderful prey, which will be donated to science upon my untimely passing. The theater. Oh, the theater, where you go to be entertained and enlightened and educated, except for a small group of people who feel the need to run out at the very end of the show because you think you need to get in your car and out of the parking lot before everyone else. Yeah! People have been up there sweating for over 2 hours, giving you the best entertainment possible from the bottom of their heart. And you have to run out to be first in line at the drive-thru of Arby's? Are you kidding me? Are you? No, I'm okay. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. My producer says it's time to move on. Are looking out over the audience. Did you know that audience is from the French word audience? But the real meaning of audience comes from long ago. There was once a theater critic whose name was Dudes. Yes, he was French. His name was Dudes, and he would go see the shows, and the cast would peek through the curtain and say, "Oh, the audience is here." And that's how we started calling it the audience. No kidding. This is called a soundboard because all of the sound generates from this area. Let's put it in perspective. Let's say the microphones are on stage, and they are a million little bees buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. All of those little bees fly through the air, hit the soundboard, then the soundboard sends those little bees up to the speakers. And that's how it all works. Do you know why it's called a soundboard? Because the people who sit back here sit in chairs the entire time and probably get very, very bored. These are called props because you lean them against the wall and prop them up when they're not in use. Here we are at the exits to the box seats, a wonderful plush setting for you and your friends. But did you know that in ancient times, the hallways that led from the theater to the exit were called the vomitorium? The vomitorium! Why? Because the audience spewed from them upon their exit. That's really gross. thought I stepped in something. This is the green room. They call it the green room because it's brown. When you buy a ticket, most often you buy it in the box office. But do you know why it's called the box office? Because long ago there was no such thing as reserved seating. They would just take all the tickets, throw them on the floor, and people would wrestle in order to get their favorite seat. In other words, that room became a giant boxing match, which eventually became the box office, mainly because it got too messy. Thankfully, they've cleaned all the blood out of the carpet in this room. Can you imagine having to fight for your ticket? It's like Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club.
Stella! Is your name Fabio?
Are you looking at me? I said, are you looking at me? He's alive! Alive! Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Oh!
Yo, Adrian. It's not easy being green. Kids these days, so desensitized.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up.
Ha-cha-cha! What's happening to me? I'm just shouting movie quotes! Ah!
Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a.
And now, I've entered the door with my ticket. Do you know why it's called a ticket? Because there's a time on it. And if you listen closely, you can hear the countdown until the show starts. There's a small ticking that can be detected by canines and myself. But if you listen, you can hear the tick, 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 down to showtime. That's why it's called a ticket. Wow, what a beautiful piano.
Just giving it a little polish.
Do you mind if I give it a play?
Do you play the piano?
Not at all. Never had a lesson in my life. Needs a little work. Look at all the wonderful craft things. I love white glue. Hey, mister, behave, or that's you in 10 years. Well, there you go. I'd love to stick around, but I have to hop a jet to Japan. I've been invited to study at the Museum of the Great Wall of China, where I will be observing the ancient ruins of Rome. Yes, what a life I lead. Anyway, great spending time with you, and I hope to see you soon. There's so much more still to explore, and you can bet I'm gonna be here. See you soon!
Somebody's been using my GoPro. The battery's dead. Good thing I have a spare. So, what have we been up to since last we met? We've had multiple concerts come through. We've done a lot of special events. We did a big princess party that we threw out on the front of the theater. We did some singing. We did a big dance party. The cast came dressed as the favorite princess or hero. We even had a few villains show up. We had a great time. That was sort of like our end of summer kickoff. And now it's time to start another show. We actually started another show, but it's time to start the actual production aspects of it. It is a one-act version of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And a lot of people have asked, how are you going to do the horse? How are you going to have the horseman ride? It's kind of important since it's The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow, the story of the Headless Horseman. Well, we're going to do it all through puppetry. Now, we've used a lot of puppets in shows in the past, not just for the sake of using a puppet, but to actually tell the story, help the story move along. Don't get me wrong, we love our puppets. And we're gonna go down and take a look at some of the things we've built in the past, get some ideas, and then build us a big horse. The rest of the gang is down in the catacombs, so let's go down and see what we can find. A lot of people don't know it, but we actually have an orchestra pit. We're down here under the stage right now. We keep it closed off most of the time. And right now, we call it Puppet Dungeon because we've got all of our puppets stored down here. These are some guys that Grayson, we can see you. That's okay.
What do you want me to do?
These are some guys that we made for a kids production a couple of years ago. We needed some singing food, and they were on stage, 35 seconds maybe? But they were all singing food. They could sing.
Help us!
These are some guys that we made for a commercial, which we have yet to make. But they are two-person glove puppets. So you see, Charity's got one hand there, she's got the mouth, and then another person will control this hand, just like Joel and Grayson have this guy. So they're for a top secret commercial that we're about to make. Yeah, top secret. We have Ladybug from James and the Giant Peach. This was a giant snake we made. Here's some more James and the Giant Peaches. This is a spider from James and the Giant Peach, where her head would wiggle back and forth. There you go, her head would move around when she would talk. And then this is Ka from our kids' production of The Jungle Book. We've got all sorts of little treasures down here. There's the giant head from Shrek, the musical that everyone liked to talk about. This was Grayson. Grayson, you want to show us this guy?
Sure.
He's like just lounged around right there, isn't he?
He's having a great time.
This was Grayson in Alice in Wonderland, and he played the Cheshire Cat.
Yes.
He was all in day glow, so that way, or in black light, so that way when he was bouncing around on stage, we didn't see Grayson, we only saw the cat. But it would connect to his feet to his feet. Mm-hmm. His hand would be one hand, his other hand would be the head, then someone else would be the other hand, so that way, at moments, his head could pop off and they could like juggle his head and step on his head and all sort of give us a good voice.
Hello! I am a cat!
It kind of sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes, it does, dearie!
This is Grasshopper from James the Giant Peach, hanging out down here, and beside of him is Centipede. You can tell he's a centipede because he has multiple legs, whereas Grasshopper only has a couple extra legs. Centipede. This is from a kids show we did a couple of years ago, actually about 10 years ago, where we needed a giant monster. And he's mechanical. Where is his hand? Is it on the other side?
There's a hand here.
I mean, if you fill inside, then there you go. This is the one that has the control. There's a controller inside of his hand that's actually a bicycle cable, and it makes his mouth move. So whoever was controlling his hand inside of there would make his mouth move. And if you look inside of his mouth, that's shark tooth scrim, and that's how you can see out, and also through his nostrils. He's a heavy sucker. And very sweaty. It's like once you got inside, you couldn't get out until someone unhooked you. So you were stuck in there the entire show. These are some normal, just regular glove puppets that we made for when we did Addams Family. They're like the Venus flytraps that lived in the flower pots. They would like he'd feed mice to. Let's pretend that Grayson is a mouse.
Oh, God.
Here, Joel, feed him to the
Grayson.
feed him to the flytrap. Rod puppets from a show we did many years ago. I think before most of y'all were born. There, it was like an island story. This was like the god of death. This is the god of water. We had the goddess of the earth. We're like these were actors that looked like this, and then they had little puppets that matched them in their costumes. So they would go on this journey, and you'd see the actors walk behind the mountains, and then you see the little puppets walking across the mountains as they went. I throw nothing away. For that very reason, just because they make me smile. This is another version of Ka. This is the first time we did Jungle Book. He was more of like a menacing type character. And the second time we did it, years and years later, he turned into that version, which I showed you a little earlier. That he's more of a cartoon, comical version. But this one, he was more of a cunning, scary, wrap you in my slithering tail.
So we also had a Yeti, a giant Yeti. It was part puppet, part costume. And the actor had to wear stilts because he was so tall. These are just his arms. How large they are in comparison to the body. I think Scotty found the head.
Well, there you go. There's the Yeti's head that goes with Joel's hands, so that would actually fit on the actor. His arms would be extended. He had a big white suit with a fat suit.
He had big stilts with big
So he'd
Yeti
be what,
feet.
10 feet tall?
No, he's about 10 foot tall.
And he had the same thing where he could see through his mouth. Barely. But also, if you know in that story for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is Bumble, he loses his teeth. So his teeth are Velcroed so that way his teeth can come out later in the scene. So they're all lined up in there. So yeah, that was a fun little challenge. I think I've got a video clip of him walking across the stage doing the first test in the stilts. I'll put it right here. Who, ladies?
I'm Francesca.
I'll be honest, I don't really know.
And I'll be Pinky Tuscadero.
Viva!
These are from our production of Seussical. These are 3 of the 4 bird girls. We don't have an extra hand because Joel is holding the camera. And why am I making the mouth move while I talk? I don't know. Anyway, these were the bird girls. They were the backup singers and told the story of Seussical, the musical. Let's give it an ah. Beautiful. Beautiful, ladies. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We also took a quick field trip down to one of my most favorite places in the world, the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta. They have permanent displays, they have traveling displays, they have the history of puppetry that goes thousands and thousands of years, and you can look at these things and notice the mechanics. You can get inspiration and ideas about movement, about fabrication. All these great things are there for you to look at and observe. And they also have one wing that's nothing but Jim Henson in the World of the Muppets. If you have a couple of hours and you're passing through that area, make sure you stop because it is a wonderful place for creative people, for people who are just interested in something fun to do. It is a spectacular spot, Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. Go check it out.
Let's just cut the ears. This is the bloopers.
This is a bad earring to wear today.
This is the down and dirty of puppet
There you
filming
go.
that you
There
don't
you
get
go.
to see.
That is a terrible earring to wear today. This is gonna happen again.
Ha cha cha.